Today I want to talk about portraiture, my favorite subject matter. What it is about portraiture that draws her in. Well, I guess it's this fascination we have with people and their stories and their thinking and the imagination that it requires to imagine who they are, what they've lived, what they're thinking, who they are. We don't even need to know who the person is to be able to read a story or to create one. In this case here, we have a portrait of a young woman looking out of the canvas. She's not looking at us, she's looking beyond us, which creates an even more interesting dynamic of what is she thinking, what is she feeling, what are her stories, what is her history. And we want to engage with that. We want to imagine and sometimes even read our own stories. So we have this image here that sits between realism and abstraction with quite geometric shapes. Let's observe here the design of the light and the design of the shadows. They are quite broad strokes creating geometric shapes. That is my style. I sit between realism and abstraction. The images are still recognizable. We can still see that being a face. We can identify who she was and her features, but there is a sort of a less blending rendering of the paint and the canvas. This canvas in particular, the tooth of the canvas is quite rough. I've chosen it because I wanted it to have some texture, and on a close-up here we can analyze it better. You can see the texture of the canvas is still quite visible, and that creates a stronger base, if you like, for the paint to sit on. And on these beautiful little details we can see all those little geometric shapes between shadow and light, and the coloring is what's called a limited palette. So we've got very few colors here. We have 1 or 2 yellows. I believe that was maple, that would be ochre, and then we have 1 red all around that mix with different shades, and obviously burnt umber here creates the sort of the overall composition of this limited palette. So portraits are wonderful windows into people's minds and into our own minds. As I said before, it tells us of our own stories, our own imagination, and we kind of superimpose that onto the portraits that we admire. So here you go. Abstract reflections can be viewed on my website, stephanievandem.com, and as usual the link is on the bio. I hope you enjoy